progress too before they come across and the Crusaders straight onto the attack they go, and now Owen Franks, but they've secured it.
Now Dubria, oh dear me.
You look at the way that Franks comes in, that's legitimate.
Someone that handed to his hand Franks.
Okay, he's going to have a run, but he runs into Franks.
And they've done it for the first time in 24 years. The All Blacks are the world champions.
Today's one of the first ones of the year on the beach. Usually we do it on the field, but we just wanted to do something different. Once you own them, start driving them somewhere.
The beach was just a chance to get outside the gym environment, was get out into the sun, putting what's been done into the gym, from the gym I should say, into fundamental skills and defence, getting them back onto rugby mode, mentally and physically. We demand excellence in what they do, so I expect to be knocked over. I expect the back of my teeth to rattle, and it's fun.
Put them down, get on the ball. Tackle low and come up with that tick, blowing through them. Real good on the shot, just a little bit lower. Up off the line, up. That's better.
We're pretty competitive. It was probably something we had to learn to get better at.
Oh, super competitive.
Competitive. I remember when I was little, they used to be like, "Okay, whose legs are biggest? Be honest, whose leg's biggest?" And I'll pick one, the other one would get grumpy and they'll be at the gym.
You know, you'll go to a Crusaders training and they'll put Ben and I on opposite teams for training, and yeah, there's no holds barred. If Owen's got the ball, you can rest assured that Ben's going to try to hit him at 110%, and sometimes it ends up that they both get up and they start having this big punch up at training.
You've got to remember our sport's context, so when we're competing, you know, trying to bash each other.
One. Go purpose, watch.
We're competitive to the point of fist fights at some stage, but like most brothers.
But the beauty of it is with the Franks boys is that's work, and they've had a few monumental punch-ups in training. Whistle goes, training's over, and it's like, okay, let's go and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think as we've gotten older, we've about to channel that competitiveness different ways. Yeah.
They call them Malcolms. It's some sort of a shuttle type runs, but they put a CrossFit spin. They do it for time, how many 5 rounds as quick as we can do it.
To be honest, that was the debut on the tackle bags, being the human shield. Now for me, it's just getting a bit of body contact and just taking it into the gym. It's just perfect, just like CrossFit always is. It's being prepared for the unknowable.
They're pretty intense. Getting hit by those two, it's not a habit you want to get into, is running straight into them.
I'm smashed, literally.
I don't want to be the tackling dummy, not with them.
So this is up here, it's the Christchurch Catholic Cathedral, that obviously fairly damaged.
There was an earthquake, I think it was February, it was a week, it was before our second game of the season. yeah, well, the whole city got rocked really. You know, we lost our stadium.
Playing at home's a huge advantage. At a time when we want to be at home with our families, we had to get on the plane and travel and do it every week. It's our stadium in up ahead, AMI Stadium. More than likely it's probably going to be pulled down. They've already started making a temporary stadium for us to play in this year. I think that holds close to 50,000 and our temporary stadium is going to be about 18,000, so should be some good demand for tickets. Usually this is packed with people, so it's quite cool to come down here, you know, when the stadium's full. People all up here are usually watching us get off the bus. Just where I'm taking you up here is where the CTV building once stood. It's just a local TV station which collapsed. So in the February earthquakes we had 181 people died. A majority of them were in this building. You just never knew what was around the next corner. You know, was it going to be another big one the next day? You know,
Not a lot of people in the team had power or water. Me and Ben didn't have it for like 2 weeks. Yeah, so we missed that week, and then the week after that, we were basically on the road for the whole season.
And you know, not just around New Zealand. We had to travel, you know, Australia, South Africa, London.
We never had a home game. If we were at home, we'd get home on Sunday and then we'd be back, you know, on the plane again on Wednesday.
When we finish, yeah, it's going to be a season really to look back on and be very proud of. We stuck together really well, considering what was going on around us. We could have quite easily chucked the towel in, and you wouldn't have blamed anyone for doing it. But the coaches did a great job, and the players really pulled together tight. So. I love being a father. The hardest bit was for the first, from April, I wasn't home barely at all. I wasn't really home until we finished the World Cup. So I've only really felt like I could call myself a dad probably the last 3 or 4 weeks since the World Cup ended. So I've been home, you know, changing the nappies and getting up during the night and feeding her in the morning, and it's great. It's awesome. It's made my life better. So. You gotta learn to walk, hey? You gotta stop being so lazy and walk.
The reason why I like Olympic lifting so much is just the transfer you get from Olympic lifting to scrummaging. I think is huge. Power output from a stay position to, you know, exploding out of the blocks. You know, if you flipped it around, it's basically almost just like a scrum, keeping tight and contracting really well. It's just so much that relates to scrummaging. So, Dad introduced me, took me and Ben down to meet Lee Attrell, who I've been training with. So I met him when I was 16 down at QE2. Basically been training with him ever since.
One of the things with training, if they're not enjoying it, then you're not getting the maximum out of it. So if we know someone is somewhere else that's good at this, let's get them to teach the boys, and that's how we met Lee.
Ken, their father, rang me up and asked me if I would be interested in meeting his sons, as they were going to be All Blacks. Owen was about 16, I think Ben was about 19, and asked me if I'd be interested in training them, if they could come down for a few sessions, and we started a relationship and training these lads up. Drop. Oh, that's more like it. Nice. Drop. That's it. Drop. That's strong. Come on, dig it in on. Hold it.
I was brought down here by Ben Franks to start his off-season strength and conditioning program. The program right now is just basic strength, converting it into power later on. Throughout the month of December, the whole month of November was just basically healing up injuries, getting some general prep phase going, getting some good work in and getting nice and strong.
You know, they were lifting weights at 18 that a lot of the professional rugby players in New Zealand at that time weren't even lifting. So when that transposed onto the rugby field, they were hitting people a lot harder.
We train for fitness for training as well as power and strength. So they can manage to train through their fitness as well, like heavy scrummaging, heavy tackling, so their bodies can take the knocks.
Anything we do in the gym, anything we do on a speed and agility circuit, anything we do with medicine ball work or anything like that, it has to show up on the rugby pitch.
Strong, strike hard, come on, tight back, come on, more, come on, strong. Strong, punch up, good, strong on, strong. Strong. Strong.
Their training philosophy is great. You know, they train hard. They know that what they put in, they'll get out.
We like training together for the fact we are competitive with each other. We play very similar to each other, so it's easy to, you know, my work-ons are usually most of the time Owen's work-ons and vice versa. So.
Let's go, come on in. Line up in groups of 5. So we'll start the first group here, then stand behind, groups of 5. It's all very quiet this morning, how come we're not chitty-chatting?
Me and Owen always joked about having our own gym. So I went and leased a warehouse with no clear plan on what I was going to do. Me and Owen had always done Olympic lifting from an early age. You know, we thought we'd open up a Muscleheads kind of gym, and then when we stepped back and thought about it, we thought, you know, not everyone wants to do that sort of stuff, you know.
Me and Ben and Dad, we talked about opening a gym because we obviously been doing it our whole lives. And Dad found CrossFit and told me and Ben about it.
Like most people looked at it and just went, holy shit, how can you do all these exercises in under 10 minutes? Started playing with it myself, just at home. And then started introducing it to the boys as a way to get your conditioning through the roof.
It was along the same lines we already thought, but it packaged it in a way that you know, anyone off the street could come and do this and do the right sort of exercises.
Whether you're an elite athlete or you haven't trained for 10 years, we can get you all in the one class, going to have fun, and you're going to show results. Go! It's all about technique.
Dad learned a whole heap off. He met some really good people in San Diego who were involved with CrossFit. So we just learned as much as we could and then came back and started setting up our own place.
Our first year of CrossFit was very much a learning experience, CrossFit-wise, dealing with people, business-wise. I've never learned so much.
So we're always looking at what's going to give us the edge. With rugby, it's a team game, but as an individual in that game, you have to be good enough to stop the next person taking your spot. I'm a big advocate for always looking at new things. It's a great tool to have in our arsenal for training.
I use CrossFit as it's the icing on my cake. It's the thing I use as the extra to give me that edge.
Second half of the second half, when everyone else is tired, they're used to living in that zone, and so they can make intelligent decisions.
For my sport, I've got to run short distances explosively, and then I've either got to tackle someone, I've got to have a scrum, I've got to hit a ruck. So you know, there's a lot of CrossFit WODs that are great for that, and we use CrossFit as our edge.
CrossFit's such a great tool for rugby, and there's a lot of people that do CrossFit around the world that play rugby. So it's just a matter of working out how we let them know how it fits in, because you still have to do your traditional rugby skills and you still have to do some strength work, but hey, throw this in the bag as well. So just getting that mix right, it would be quite nice for us to work out that programming, because it's going to make you fitter, faster, stronger.
CrossFit perfect for me because in my position I'm up off the ground all the time. It's more of a physical position. My heart rate at one moment's through the roof, and then have to recover and then do it again. So do my weights, getting a short metcon afterwards, or a CrossFit work on the weekend like we did today, and my fitness levels stay really high. So
I love the results it gets for me put on the field, but I probably love the results more I see when I come into the gym. The amount of people I've seen come in here have said never be able to do a pull-up. Squats are bad for my knees and my back. And then once we break them down and get them doing these movements, it's always a great sight to see them turning up before class, practicing their pull-ups, practicing their Olympic lifts, doing all, they're addicted to it. So that's the bit I like, seeing people getting fit and just having a better quality of life. That's probably the best thing I like about CrossFit.
It's quite funny, I can go up to a client and go, I need you to work harder, nothing will happen. And then if you get an All Black leaning over and whispering in your ear, you can go harder. They look around and see who it is. Away they go, they start working harder.
Then I mainly have some sort of lean meat. I quite like fish and just salad or a lot of green veg at night. What's this, a 2?
That's a 2.
Just can't get that pull.
Just can't get that last bit. And I can hold it closed longer.
Those rules, Gab. All my jerseys are up in here. Every All Black game you get a brand new, or you get given a jersey. We don't get given a jersey, earn a jersey. But so at the bottom it'll have your name. So it's been my name, and it'll have what cap you've played. So that was my second game for the All Blacks, this jersey.
Well, after the game, sometimes the opposition player or I might go into the shed and ask if the guy at mark wants to swap a jersey, just sort of like a memento. Yeah, I wouldn't swap a jersey if it wasn't against someone who I didn't really respect or someone I didn't like, These are a few of the jerseys that I swapped. This is a French jersey, England, Japan.
So when you play your first test match for the All Blacks, you get given a cap. At the end of the game, at the aftermatch, you've got to go up on stage and say a bit of a speech in front of the crowd, and then you've got to wear this for the whole night, and then you get given your All Black tie.
This is Crusaders, the club team I play for here. So that's the Super 15 competition.
That hasn't changed since day one, but most successful super franchise, and we've got 7 titles.
This is a World Cup winning jersey. They're pretty cool jerseys. They have your name engraved down the bottom.
That was the first New Zealand team I made, so New Zealand under-19s. It's the World Cup medal there.
It was unreal. It was I don't know, it was just a dream come true. Growing up, I've never seen the All Blacks win the World Cup.
Every little kid's dream in New Zealand is to play for the All Blacks. The All Blacks is probably one of the most successful teams in the world.
New Zealand haven't won the World Cup for 24 years. Something we needed to do just to get over the hump.
It wasn't a nice game to watch because it was such a nail biter.
It was tight, it was won by 1 point. It was one of those games we just wanted to finish, just win it and get out of there.
When the ball finally got kicked out, I know it's indescribable, so the best feeling you can ever have, really huge high.
Oh, it was awesome. Then you go from just relief, I think, just relief and proud for them.
Firstly, fantastic for the country. There was a mental barrier for us as a country, and for them to do it and be involved in it was something really special.
I didn't even know what to do. I was sitting there with all my friends and it was so nerve-wracking. I was getting up and pretending to go toilet, I just couldn't sit there, I was so jittery. But
To have Ben and Owen involved in that was something really special for the club, for our province and obviously the nation.
The most special thing for me was just how New Zealand as a country got behind it. New Zealanders are very kind of laid back in their approach to sports people. For the World Cup, everyone, there was flags everywhere, everyone was out on the streets just supporting us, and it was a really good feeling. So that's probably one of the really big highlights in my career there.
Ben Franks spots a little hole and makes good progress too. Straight onto the attack they go, and now Owen Franks.
5 years ago, with Owen, that was the goal. That was the goal. When we first sat down with Owen, he was only playing Linwood, so he was nowhere near that level, and his goal was to be involved in that World Cup winning side. So that's the power of goals.
I'm going to have a good sit down with him next week, and we're going to sort of plan out what we want to do for the next 4 years till the next World Cup. I think I'm known as one of the best props in the world. I want to be the best, and everyone knows it, so that's where I want to go.